Hello and welcome back to the Pub Test Podcast. This is our AA special edition with your boy Fletch and Tommy C.
Hello, it's me.
He's ready for this. AA teams, very hard to. Sat down there for about at least 6 hours trying to sort through information, sort through
Six
it.
hours.
It would have been, I was watching footy at the same time, so it probably wasn't full 6 hours, but
I was same. I was on the same with cricket. I had the cricket on, and then I was like, yeah, I did the whole thing. I went through every team, and I
yep.
went through the best players from each team, and then I narrowed it down. I had like 59 players. I narrowed it down to 40. Had them all in key defense. Like I had literally had them break down, and I did it properly. So I'm excited for this. And yeah, looking
I'm
forward to hearing
nervous because
what
I
you have
don't
to
want to be
say.
judged off my calls because it was hard. It was very, very hard.
Hey, when you do a podcast, mate, you're gonna get judged off your calls. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So, how do you want to do this?
So we're going to say three at a time, the three lines. You're going to say defense. I'm going to say midfield. You're going to say forward. I'm going to say interchange, and we're going to just the other person going to say their changes to that side, if that makes sense. So
Just so we're
we're
not
not
reading
going
out
to
the same
say
players.
let's say Nick Dacos twice. You know what I mean? We're just going to say, yep, we got him.
So I'm gonna say what if I have a different back pocket, I'll say the back pocket is just to make it quicker.
Yep.
You don't want to hear 30. You don't want to hear 100 names. So
Um, so after cricket, a little short little. I don't have much to say because unfortunately, my TV room in Perth does not have Channel 9.
what?
Yeah, so I couldn't
Your
watch it.
TV doesn't have channel 9?
Yep, has every other channel but Channel 9. So yeah, very frustrating.
How
I
does
know.
a TV not have channel 9? We could spend 10 minutes talking about that alone if we didn't have 38-minute podcast.
I tuned
That's
it twice,
incredible.
didn't work.
That's incredible. But yeah, that was one of the great test matches you will ever see. I haven't had much sleep. I've been watch it pretty much religiously, like a lot of people would have. But that is one of the great games of cricket you will ever see. To come from where we were, I think Cummins came to the crease hitting 73 runs. And then him and Gaz put on 55 for the last for that winning partnership is yeah stuff of dreams, especially in Ashes. This Bazball's real, Fletch. Not sure how much you follow the cricket, but this Bazball's been that's taken the cricket world by storm. It is real, and it is you're left in a spin. Like you're literally left like dazed by what the hell is happening in front of you. The first ball of the test went for four through the covers. So okay, this is a sign. It was unreal viewing. So fair play to England. They real force issue, and I think that's probably why this game turned out to have a result. Because obviously it rained the whole day. On day four or day three, or one of the days was rained out most of the day. And the only reason why it was a result in this game is because England force issue, like a first day declaration. I don't think you'll see a game of cricket where there's a first day declaration. This doesn't happen, Fletch. So, yes, baseball's real. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I was setting the most stupidest fields. That some of the stuff you'd see in that. Have you played that game of cricket where you laid out in the ground and you have these little like
Yeah,
figurines? I'm not sure what
yeah,
it's
I remember
called.
that.
And then you flick it with a trigger to bowl the ball. Then you flick
Yeah.
with a trigger to hit the ball. That's the kind of field you were seeing. It was absolutely unreal. But yeah, nah, fair play to England for making a game. But gee, my captain Pat Cummins, he is. Oh, I could. I don't have any words for how much I love that man. But and Uzi, man of the match, deserved. Just stood up. I think with all the quick innings around him, head quick 50, Carey made 50. He just knuckled down. So that was the performance that we needed. But yeah, 1-0 Fletch.
Does this take take aside the 1-0, but does this enhance or uh, does it enhance Australia's chance of winning? Like in terms of, or what do you think of Australia? Or does it just decrease England more? Like, is it more
Um,
a loss for England or is it more a win for Australia type thing?
Well, as I said, I think the only reason why Australia wins is because England made it a game, ultimately. As much as I want to say Australia were really good, they were really good. But if England don't declare on day one, it's a draw. So probably more England lost, in my opinion. The good thing is Australia's two best batters in the world. They're literally one and two, or I'm not sure where Marnus is. Actually, I think they are one and two. Uh, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's a positive is that they did nothing. So that's a positive that they won't be that bad again. Marnus has been really bad away from home his whole career. So I'm not sure about how Marnus will go, but Smith won't be that bad again. So, and England, they had made their mistake. They played three 130k bowlers on a dead wicket. So Mark Wood, I'm not sure much you've heard of him, bowls 150k express. He's a lock to play the next test. Mark my words, he has to play. But yeah, probably more a loss for England in my opinion, Fletcher. But they made a game of it, so I think it would have been a draw if they don't. So that probably makes me think it's a loss to England more than a win for Australia. But I'm not complaining. My TikTok has been unreal viewing today.
Oh God, you're a muppet, aren't you?
I love my TikTok. But let's say some footy. I could talk cricket forever, but we don't have forever. We have 32 minutes. So let's
32.
do some footy. So do you want to lead us off with the defence, Fletch, this Australian squads?
Sure. I'll do back two back pockets and a full back. I've got
Yep.
Jack Sinclair, Mason Redmond, and Stephen May. Those are my three.
Do you
You
do
got any changes?
your whole defence? Because
Okay, I'll do my
I've
whole.
got those players in a different position, so I don't want
Okay,
to repeat.
centre half back and my half back flankers are Nick Dacos, Darcy Moore, and Tom Stewart.
Okay. So I heard you say you had Redmond.
Yeah, Redmond, Sinclair, Redmond, Stephen May, then
Okay,
Stewart,
sweet.
Moore, and
Okay,
Dacos.
perfect. So I wasn't listening very well. Okay, I've got that same half back,
Yep.
except I've got Sinclair in half back, not back pocket.
Okay.
My other two are completely different. I've got Sicily. I've got Charlie Ballard,
So
and
Ballard's on my bench. I did want to make a case, but I've just got those two have got more wins technically.
no, fair enough, fair enough. So I think the other four I have the same as, but for me, Sicily, I think, yeah, I think I saw on TikTok someone did well, the way they did their bookends, their defense and four. They had three talls and three smalls. So I followed that same thing for the same kind of strategy. So my talls were Sicily Ballard, Moore. My smalls were Redmond, Daco Sinclair. So yeah, my changes were Sicily and Ballard Fletcher. Now we'll go to midfield. We'll go to midfield and followers, or just the followers to the end.
Now we'll do midfield and forward. I just want to say I did want to put Sicily. I
Sure,
just the only problem with the suspension, I did take that into account. I said he's going to miss a month. Um,
that's fair.
so I kind of went, nah, he probably can't play. Stewart is probably first out right now. Riley
Yeah,
went like
Stewart's
that.
a big one.
Stewart's probably first to the bench. If Charlie Ballard keeps having a blinder, I'm almost saying you're out. You're back down the bench, to be honest with you. So
Fair
he's
enough.
close to being out.
Fair enough. Okay, so the midfielders and the followers. I think we're gonna have the same. My two wingers, Nick Martin and Josh Dacos. I think for me they pick themselves. Errol Gould and Stiff. Mason Woods dropped off too much for mine. Martin and Dacos. My centre line is Zach Butters. He's my centre. And then my followers are Timothy English, Marcus Bontempelli, and Jordan Dawson.
Okay, yeah, I pretty much got the same as you. I don't have. Who would you say is your first winger? Josh Dacos.
I had Nick Martin and Josh Dacos.
Yeah, so I haven't got Nick Martin's on my bench. I've got Jordan Dawson as a winger, and I've got Zach Butters as a winger.
You've gone that route. You've
Yeah,
gone the not traditional wingers.
yeah,
You are a prick.
I am. I'm a fraud.
Fletcher.
I'm a fraud.
Oh,
But
fraud.
I've got Bond English and Clayton Oliver, like you said. I just have Neil. I really like
Wait,
the
Clayton Oliver.
season.
I haven't got Clayton Oliver.
I've got Oliver, sorry. But now I'm missing
What?
this week. I was already dubious putting him in there because of how much foot he's missed. And now I'm almost saying you're out. I'd almost put Nick Martin on my wing and Zach Butters into my midfield. But it's a tough one. If he's missing this week, so I'd probably make that change. To be honest, he missed a month. That's a big out.
That is, you're right. It will be 4 weeks now.
Yeah,
So, wow, you haven't gone the wingers. I think the wingers, to be honest, they're probably not going to pick wingers, but I think the wingers have been so good this year. Every year there's really been one or two really good wingers. This year there's three, four. Like I think Errol Gould and Stiff to miss out for me, but Nick Martin and Josh Dacos have been too good. So, and you had English Dawson, or you Dawson on the wing. So,
I had Dawson on the wing,
um,
yeah,
and Clayton Oliver was your one switch.
and Neil.
Neil, okay,
Lockie
Neil, okay.
Neal. I've got him as a rover. So I think he's had a fantastic year. It's under the radar because he's won a Brownlow. So I still
And
think
Mick,
it's
he
really
hasn't
good.
been as good as his Brownlow years. Still been good though. So yeah, I can respect that pick.
I
He's
did
not in
also
my side.
prioritize winning,
But
which is team success, and which is team success is hard, but I prioritize teams that are winning. To be honest with you,
you can tell you're an NBA fan.
yeah, a little bit.
But no, I can't argue that. Neil has been very good. He just hasn't been as good as previous years. Doesn't mean he hasn't been good though. So
What's your thoughts
um,
on Josh Dunkley?
he's stiff. I think he really flew on the radar at the start of the year. I think
That's what
he's
I'm
come
thinking.
this year. I think the last month or two, he's announced himself as a genuine like star. If he wasn't already, that's for the wrong words. But I think he's become so good the past month. But I think he started a little bit. I couldn't say quiet, but just wasn't like outstanding. He wasn't an All Australian form start of the year.
His
I think for
scoring
me,
volumes have peaked. His scoring volumes have
yeah.
gone up.
And he's getting more touches, and I know that's not a great indicator, but I know great for my multis. He's hitting 25 touches now. But for me, I just think Bont, Dawson, and Butters, and then I've got three mids on the bench. I think they've been better for longer. But yeah, Dunkley. Anyone that has Dunkley, I would not argue. So yeah,
Maybe by the end of the year. All right, my forward six. Yeah, because you
correct.
did your midfield. All right, so I got Petrarca. Not really a forward, but yeah, I'm taking him.
Oh, you are a loser. You're
Yeah.
you've gone the soft route because you're going to include all these gun players now. I'm going to leave out so many. I'm going to cop a battering. But yeah, but he plays that centre forward role, so I don't hate it. He was on mine at my original draft. I took him out, and he's on my bench now. But
He's a mid
okay, sorry,
forward.
go on.
I
Yeah, he
got
plays enough centre forward. Sorry, go on. I interrupted you.
so I got Petrarca, Jeremy Cameron, Toby Green. Then I've got Charlie Cameron, Charlie Curnow, Shea Bolton.
I've got those other five. So the only one I don't have is actually I've got all six of those players. I've got Petrarca on the bench.
Okay.
So my forward six is the same. I said, yeah, I've got my half forward is Green, Danaher, Bolton, forward line Cameron, Curnow, Cameron. So same six, just I've got Petrarca on the bench. So nice and easy. Anyone from there, since we ran through that so quickly, anyone from there stiff?
Not stiff, but only put in there because I needed a small forward. Charlie Cameron.
Yeah, he's flying to the. I don't know. He hasn't.
He hasn't wowed me.
He's so weird. He hasn't wowed me, but he's been better than the other ones. But he's still
Yep.
kicked a fair few goals this year, but he hasn't wowed me to
He's
the
had a lot
level
of
of
goalless
previous year.
games.
He has. And maybe he's a victim of his own standards. He's still been good. But you're right. I was like, I'm putting him in here just because he's good, not because he's been amazing. I don't know.
I
I
and
feel that.
I couldn't tell you another small forward that I go, yes, I'm set on that. I'm set on him. So he kind of just fell in because he just fell in there. So I'm not set on that. That's got to change by the end of the year, in my opinion.
Oh, by the way, I'm a goose. I had Joe Danaher on my team. I've missed that. My one difference to you is instead of Petrarca, I've got Joe Danaher.
I did
I
think
can't believe I missed that.
I did think you said that. He was stiff. He was stiff. So
Joe
who took
Danaher is centre half forward for me.
okay, instead of and that's my difference to Petrarca.
Instead of
But
Petrarca,
you had
Petrarca's on my
Jeremy
bench.
Cameron and Kerno, didn't you?
Correct.
You just have to put him in. You just said that a bad month, but in the last podcast, but you've got to put him in there.
He was so good early on.
Yep.
He was so good. He was a top 3 player in the comp for 2 months. So yeah, he's been bad. He's probably the first one out for me in this team. I'd put him out before Danaher, which is controversial.
Who's the
But
first out for you?
Jeremy Cameron?
Jeremy Cameron's your first out.
I think
I
Danaher's
understand the
been.
reasoning, but still.
Joe Dan. I don't think there's a world we can say Joe Danaher has been better than Jeremy Cameron, but yeah. So yeah, I can't believe I missed that. Joe Danaher is my centre forward. So that's my one difference to you.
Yep.
For me, Nick Larkey, surprising. He's like third or fourth in the goal kicking.
Yep, totally agree with that.
You can make a case for him. I've got another key forward on my bench, so I won't talk about him. But yeah, Nick Larkey is probably the stiff one for me. Who else? Tex is high on the ranking, but he kicked 10 against Eagles.
Yeah.
He's been good, but I think that's kind of a bit of fool's gold, in my opinion. But yeah, I think the small forward stock this year hasn't been great. like Tom Papley's been bad, and I'd love to see. I'd love to. Oh, actually, another one that's stiff for me. Grind Myers. He's stiff for me.
Yeah.
A lot of goal assists. I know his stats won't say a lot of goals. He was in my initial team, but I was like, I can't. Shea Bolton's been too good. But Grind Myers on a half forward, I think you can definitely make a case for. So Riley, that's for you. Grind Myers would probably be my next small guy in.
But even
If I
like
had to
a,
put him.
I know you're a price of it, but like a Bowman McCreary has been very good. Nowhere near
Oh
stats
yeah,
and nowhere shouldn't be in the conversation. But I mean, role wise, very important for the Pies. Very, very important for the
correct,
Pies.
correct. So it's not an easy role to get a lot of stats in.
No,
So like
definitely not.
even these guys, Toby Green and Shea Bolton, they play a bit of midfield. They're one of the team's best players. So you really small forward role is very hard if you're not one of the team's best players. So
Definitely.
they even you said Charlie Cameron is in there. He's had a lot of goalless games. So
Yeah.
but yes, that's our little shout outs. We went through it really quickly, so I thought we might talk about the stiff omissions. Okay, the interchange. So this could go any which way. My initial plan was going to be to have one from each position, but I just feel I was leaving out too many midfielders that was going to get flamed for it. So I put three mids in here, which I don't like. Um, for reference, my backup ruck would have been Sean Darcy, but he has not made the cut.
Yep.
But I've gone Connor Rosie, Christian Petrarca. I initially did not have Tim Taranto in this team. I reckon our comment section would have been ugly if I didn't have him in there. Tim Taranto, and I've gone, hate me, I don't care. Brody Mychek is in there.
Don't mind it. Don't
He's,
mind it.
he's gone under the radar. Now, look, that's probably calling a bias. I think Nick Lucky probably should be ahead of him. But I want another Collingwood player. Sue me.
It's pretty incredible that like I've got two Collingwood players in my whole side, and they're the best team by well, apart from Port, a fair stretch at the moment. And
Yeah,
in Port,
I did a fair way. Yeah,
I've got two Port players, and they're those two. I've got four of them from the best two teams in the competition. It's pretty incredible.
that is interesting.
On my bench, I've got Nick Martin, Connor Rosie, Charlie Ballard, and Tim Taranto. Nick Martin's just it's probably one that I probably shouldn't have put in there.
Ooh.
I'm not regretting, but like I just had it as a wing rotation. I I, I didn't honor him on the field as a winger, but I want to honor him as a winger. So I put him on the bench because I do agree, like you said earlier, that the winger role is the most important role in footy, or one of the most important roles in footy. But yet you'll get no recognition in unless you're inside the four walls in the football club. So, and then Charlie Ballard was a toss up between him and Stephen May, to be honest with you. But um, Stephen May just got it because more wins for his footy side. Probably that Fremantle loss. Sorry, that not that Fremantle loss. They lost on the weekend to who they lose to. We just talked about them.
Rio,
Um,
Giants.
no,
Who to us, sorry?
Gold Coast.
Carlton.
Carlton's loss, that kind of just went, all right, I can't put him in there because he's a part of the side. So even though he was really good, and they've also got Tim Taranto and Connor Rosie, like you said. So they're the two best players outside of this side, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Now, I'm not sure he's putting in the spot here. I know we talked about it briefly with the forwards. Are there any other players that you reckon are stiff not to be in your side? So I've got a big list here. That's why I've asked it. So if you don't have an answer now, I can go first. Are there any
Go first.
players that
I'm going to grab a
are
piece of
obviously
paper.
stiff?
I,
Sure, I'll go first.
you go
I'll go
first.
first while you go get a paper.
Yeah.
I'll talk to the viewers. 1 second. For me, the biggest for me, De Goey would have been this side if he didn't get suspended. I think he was having an All Australian year. I think he would have made onto a half forward, and flaming Fletcher for not picking up proper half forwards, and I probably would have had De Goey on here if he was good if he was not suspended. I think De Goey was the biggest unlucky one for me, but when you bump someone, you deserve to miss out. Other ones that were stiff, Adam Chera. Now, I don't think he was ever really going to be my side, but he's had a very, very good season. He deserves to be in the discussion. Lockie Neal, I think he is also having an underrated season. I think he's a victim of his own standards when you win a Brownlow and your year is slightly dropped off. He's become more of a team player. The reason why I didn't make it for me is his kicking has been really bad this year. And I think that's a concern. And I think that's pretty much it, Fletcher. You can take over now. Clayton Oliver would have been this side if he didn't get injured. So
I've got one here, Zach Merritt. He's not on my side. I think he's quite stiff,
yes, that's a good one.
been very
That's a
good
good
all
one.
year, and leadership wise, has been very good. So, stiff considering like I got Nick Martin in there, who's a teammate of his, and he's probably got less of a role, but he's playing his role very well. Probably just a bit positional than anything. Um, and the other one, I talked about Josh Dunkley already. The other one was Jacob Wiedering. I think he's been fantastic. He's been absolutely power most weeks, and we've talked about Carlton's second defender spot just about every week, and he is the number one defender and holds up every week. Um, so I really like the season. It's just unfortunate that there's three guys that really just have been outstanding, and his team is not getting wins or had eight losses in a row where you just can't have that type of stuff. So he's a bit of what can you say? His story's been written because of his side instead of because of what he's done a little bit.
Yeah.
The other one a little bit was Callum Wilkie. Started off the year fantastically. Obviously was with St Kilda there, and the reason why that St Kilda looks so good, so people gas him up. Hasn't dropped off, but his team has. So then it's obviously he's dropped off too, which I'm not totally in agreement there with that. He's still been fantastic. So a bit stiff. Bit team
Yep.
success doesn't really help him there.
Yep. I think the Wilkie one, he was a lock for the first month or so, but he probably had a tiny little drop off. His team's had a big drop off, so that's probably why he hasn't really been in discussion at the moment. I really like your Wiedering one. I would love to see him as a second tall, like what Harris Andrews has done this year. I'd love to see him playing at second tall because I reckon he's an elite intercept defender. But because he's playing on the number one tall in a side that's defense has been the defense probably been their best part, which is a bit sad. But
It's
I'd
been
love to
in
see him
there
as
a
second
lot.
tall. Harris Andrews is elevated, gone to the next level by being the second tall. I'd love to see Wiedering do the same thing, but can't argue with any of those. Fletch, who would your second ruck have been? You picked a
That
second
was
ruck.
about, I was about to say that. It was Sean Darcy into obviously
Yeah,
injury, and then it's a bit of a pit to find someone. But I did think of someone that
daylight.
went um, Rowan Marshall. I've liked his year all year. It's been very solid. There was a little sneaky one I thought there. Apart from that, it's a bit hard to. You can obviously go to Gorn and say "Hey, that's easy. I'll just put Gorn in my side. But um, yeah, Marshall Gorn probably would have been fighting for that last sort of spot off the top of my head. To be honest with you,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was a bit of daylight to the rest, to be honest. So I think that's why English is probably the very easy one.
yeah.
Anything else you wanted to cover before we talk about Supercoach Fletch? I think that was really all the shout outs I wanted to give outside of our teams.
Actually, I just thought of someone from Adelaide
Sure.
or two. Rory Led obviously is one that comes up every year, solid, consistent. You're not going to get
Yep.
going to get from him.
Yep.
But the other one, Isaac Rankin, is a small forward. If he just narrows down those bad games, could absolutely push a Charlie Cameron for that spot, in my opinion.
I like that. He was on my short list. So I said when I did this, I went through every team and picked my best players from each team, and then I went down from there. He made my initial squad of 59. But yeah, no, you're right. He absolutely I said we talked about the small forwards are a little bit weaker this year. They didn't stand out as much as other seasons. Um, you're right. His bad game has just been too bad for me, like you said. He's been blanketed too often. And to be fair, it's probably a bit harsh because small forwards, that's kind of the position. But I think he hasn't had enough of good to bad ratio. I think it's too close together,
Yep.
in my opinion, like you said. But yeah, I think what we'll do is I know it's still 4 months away. We'll have an episode where hopefully Riley's back and we'll do it. Well, depends if we wait till after the season or not. Again, it's a long way away. We'll have to talk about it, but
Yeah.
definitely have an episode where we dedicate an hour or so to our teams because it's always fun making. I know back in peak lockdown, Marnus, Rod, and I would do a Zoom, and we'd have a PowerPoint presentation of our teams, and we'd have animations and everything. We'd say, okay, from the back line, and then we have animations of a picture of their head on and have like a footy oval, have pictures of their head with animations. It was unreal. And I was in peak lockdown. We weren't seeing anyone. It was like the best day of the year. We just like
Yeah.
in a Zoom, spent 2 hours just running through position by position. Um, Yeah, not sure how we'd be able to do something like that, but that'd be cool. Okay, so we have 13 minutes left. We got plenty of time. Supercoach. Now we want to say this one because we love our Supercoach, and would have had to do it in 30 seconds on the last episode, and we
Yep.
thought wouldn't do it justice. You mentioned this on the last episode. Clayton Oliver is out, and that has made us fucking fuming.
Yep.
So I hate Supercoach right now because um, I remember saying on our podcast 2 weeks ago, Fletch, holding Oliver was the right decision because at the time it was. Laird had scored 2 low tons. Oliver's back, supposedly. My backup players hadn't scored that badly. I lost about 80 points. Fine, he'll make that up. Sweet. And then he goes and dips his foot in mud and doesn't have a shower and it gets infected and now he's out again. Like 5 weeks he's gonna miss.
Yeah.
4 weeks of scoring. My God, it does my head in. So, but trying to navigate your frustration like myself. How's your team looking? How'd you on the weekend? And what are you looking at this week? Give us a synopsis. Is that a word? Give
Well,
us the rundown.
I'm gonna push back next week's problem, and we'll talk about this week's issues or what happened this week. So
Sure.
2002, so 2002 points, which put me in the top 11% scorers, which bumped me up another 2K to 19K, which, I mean, you have a couple of bad weeks, dropped far a long way down, and have slowly worked my way back up. Had a lot of scorers this week though, so had I think 20 scorers this week, so a lot of scorers. I got Sicily out and got Caleb Daniel in, took the risk instead of Luke Ryan, like we talked about last week. I think
Wow, well
off the
done.
podcast. I took a dog and I also
done.
took a 2% owned over the 20% owned. So I was looking for a bit of a pod in that position there, which he didn't score too bad, 200 points. I missed out, was viced. Who did I vice? With vice Tim Taranto and was going to put him into Bond. Tim Taranto got 128, but I was going to still do the Bond.
You weren't going to take 128.
No, I was going to take, like you said yesterday, to those idiots that don't take a 125. I was going to take the Bond. He scored 169. Didn't actually get the captain on him by accident. Forgot about that. So only got the 128, which I'll take. I'm happy with. But 169 double would have been very juicy. Would have made my week a lot better. So bit of a shame there.
Wow, yes, you would be one of those idiots that we talked about last week. But 128 you take every other week. But yeah, that would have been a week where you lost 40 points by forgetting to do that. But you still can't claim
I lost 80 because they would have been doubled.
No, do the maths. It's 40. You do the maths. I don't know how to explain it on the
sorry.
thing.
Yeah.
But yes, good week. 2000's a good week, and well done on taking the Sicily risk. Because for a lot of people would have held him, hoping he gets off. I thought he would have got off personally. And then because if you got rid of him and then he got off, you've traded one of the best defenders this year. So well, I took the risk, and it's paid off. So how much Daniel score?
103, yeah. So not bad. Take that.
Take 103.
I mean, he was my best defender. Sheasel scored 103 and Sinclair was 102. So it was pretty much my best defender.
You take a ton from a defender every other week. So well done. I'll talk myself quickly and then we'll talk about this week's plans. We have 9 minutes. We have time. This week, Fletch, the definition of a holding pattern week. I scored 1976, which meant I lost 100 spots in ranking. So I'm 5.8k now. Running out of time. No, we have plenty of time. Zoom. Disappointing for the sense that I saw the buy rounds as an opportunity to really go up in the ranks, but obviously it's all the stuff hit me early on. And this week my issue was Jack fucking Steele scoring 50. Like I had 20 players. I can't believe I had to take a 50 from Jack Steele. We were at the game. We didn't see him. Now that might be because we were sitting as high up on level 4 as physically possible. Maybe we literally couldn't see him, but he was shit. So, it's got to the point now he's so cheap. There's no point getting rid of him. Like, there's no point jumping off because he's just too cheap now. But yeah, I think what hurt me. What hurt me this week was Roy Laird. I don't know Roy Laird, and he went off. Oh no, he didn't play. Who was it?
Rory
Who
that
went off
didn't
that
play.
I didn't know? Who? Someone went off that I didn't know. I can't remember who.
Neil,
Neil's the one. That's the one I was talking about. Lucky
144.
Neil has 144. A lot of people would have captain VC'd him. I don't even know him. So that's probably what cost me this week. So, look, can't complain, but I was hoping that this week would be a big week for me. I had 20 players. Um, but can't win them all. That's Supercoach for you. And we move. So, Butcher, this week, what are your current trade plans? I know
Well,
me personally, I spent all Monday deciphering it. I'll go through mine after you. What are you doing this week?
I'm not sure. Chincott, I think, is going to go. Clayton Oliver has now put my side in absolute whirlwind. So I had 15, so I could make 3 trades, which I was happy about, and get me 18, which I'm fine. Clayton Oliver now goes down. I only have 14. 3 trades will only get me 17. So I've now got to try and really weigh up where I want my side to be and who I'm going to trade out.
Mm-hmm.
Paddy Cripps having a ton and looking so good at that price. I'm now like, well, him into Humphreys, pretty much a straight swap. Kind of juicy. As I said, Chin Cotter, maybe a Samson Mitchell. I'll see what his break even is. That could be one to go and start working the 102s into the side and working out those 250s, 300s out to get some more primos. Pretty much is where I'm at.
Yeah, Chin Connors will be a popular out this week because he's not playing. For me personally, now I've already made my 4 trades. So as long as Harvey Harrison from Collingwood plays, my 4 trades are locked in already. So let me make sure I can actually undo changes so I can actually read these out here. Okay, so my 4 trades. I said I spent all of Tuesday like literally I work with a mate who's a Supercoach Snuffy, and we're deciphering our trades for the week. So my out to be Wardlaw, Chincotta, Briggs, and Ford. All 4 have the buy. Cashing all them in. Briggs has more money to make. I understand that, but I have plenty of money in the bank, so I do not need his money. I'm in a good position. In my ins, Lockie Neal, Darcy Cameron, Harrison from Collingwood if he plays, and that Marich guy from the Eagles, 102k rookie that is going to play. So, yeah, that gives me now that would have given me 20 players this week, Fletch, but Clayton Oliver has gone and done a mischief, so I will have 19 players this week. So that's not an issue for me, and I think that puts me in a really good spot because I think a lot of people will be like you that will be struggling for 18 because this is the dodgiest bye week. So I
Yep.
think me having 19 is an advantage. So that's what this week should be a gain for me. I'll be shocked if I didn't gain from this week. Lockie Neal's a boring in because he's very popular owned, and I wanted to bring a pod in. I was really looking at Chad Warner last week, but he had a stinker. But the reason why I've gone with Lockie Neal, he's obviously 37% owned. If he has a good one, it ruins my week. In the next few weeks, I'm bringing pods in. So Darcy Cameron's at 8%. That's a pod. Sam Walsh next week, pod. And then the following week will probably like a Luke Ryan, also pod. So, sorry, Doherty pod. So, go on Lockie Neal. He straight my side. VC straight away. And that should be some good fun. But yeah, what's your status in terms of how many upgrades you have left? So we still have 5 minutes. That's why I thought we'd have a discussion about it. How many players do you have? Like how many upgrades you have left?
So
How many
defense is
trades?
done if you're counting Sheasel.
Yeah, after count
Midfield's
Sheasel.
got 1.
Yep.
And then forward line has got 2, but I can pretty interchange. I can make that 2 mids and 1 forward pretty easily. So I've got 3 upgrades to go. Pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I've got 3 upgrades to go. Sorry.
Okay. I like that Paddy Cripps one. Only thing is Humphrey's playing this week. So you're probably going to need a hold Humphrey.
Yeah, I did actually.
Um,
Once I said that, I did think about that.
but Paddy Cripps 450k. If I was strapped for cash, I'm not. So my intention to finish with Bailey Humphrey on my bench. So I'm going to be able to have a 23 primos. So I'm going to turn Bailey Humphrey into a primo. I like Paddy Cripps. And it's a real pod move because people are jumping off him last week because how bad he's been. But 450k, he doesn't have to average 110. He only has to average 100, and he's worth it. So I like that for you, Fletch, personally. But
What's
I'd
his
probably recommend
own?
holding Bailey Humphrey.
It'll matter what his owned is, but if his own's
It'd
low,
be low.
um, oh, that is a pod. Like it's more of a pod pick. You know what I mean?
Uh,
He's 15%.
15%.
Yeah,
That's a pod. Sub 20% is a pod for me.
yeah.
Uh-uh.
It's a big risk. I
Not
know
a
it's one good
massive.
week.
It is only one good week, but for yes, it is risky because obviously you could go back to being absolute shit and you've stuffed stuff up. But
Yeah,
for 450k, he doesn't have to average 110.
that's right.
You're picking a player
Right.
that only has to average 100 to be worth it, who could go 110. That's
That's
what makes him a nice one for me personally.
yeah.
And if I was strapped for cash, I would seriously look at it. But I luckily I'm not. But that's a very good one. So I do like that for you. Surely bringing that Eagles guy, Marich.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He's a lock. He will play barring injury. I don't know why they wouldn't pick a kick three. Why
I
wouldn't
think
they
they got
pick him?
9 coming back this week or something. So
Do
yeah,
they?
he play.
So
He'll
maybe
play.
not. But he did kick three, so I'd be shocked if he didn't get picked. But and Darcy Cameron's coming in for me. I'm not sure if you have him. Um, hasn't set the world on fire since returning, but for me, it's the DPP. It's the fact that anything English will get injured at some point. He always does. Darcy Cameron can fill the void for a week. So I'm going to finish my team with 6 trades left, Fletch, which I think puts me in a real advantage because I don't think people are going to not be have that many trades left. Um, I said, and I'm going to have a 23rd player. I'm going to have a loophole. So in defense, I have a loophole with Sheasel. So I'll have 4 trades left and 23 primos. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I'm in a good spot. So I should come home with a wet sail. It's a weird feeling. I'm not sure about you, Fletch. This I know it's your first year, so maybe not. But talking to Riley, it feels like this is the home stretch, but it's not. There's still 9 weeks left. Still 9 weeks, Fletch. It feels like it's the. It feels like there's only a month to go. Supercross finals hit. Now we had no trades over, sitting on our hands and hoping. Still 9 weeks left. So it's a weird feeling. These 24 rounds is more than usual, but yeah.
It did feel very quickly people's teams were getting finished. Like it just felt superseded that like even we talked about Marcus earlier in the year, just going hell for leather and making those
Mm,
primo calls very early instead of trying to wait for a bit of cash or gain an extra 20k next week. He's just making a call now and just oh well what the 20k is what it is type of thing and get that primo in that week. So it
you're
felt like
right.
it was behind after round 6 to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's because we have so many trades left. I know you're not used to having. Yeah, we have an extra 6 trades this year, and I don't know why. So this meant players were fanging it with trades because like, well, I'm not going to run out.
Yeah.
I think we soon realised that rookies were so shit that people are going to struggle for trades into the year. But 6 trades meant we could aggressively trade primos and stuff. So, yeah, this week's gonna be a tricky one. Um, but yeah, this is where the men separate from the boys, Fletch. It's this buy round this is gonna separate a few because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are gonna be in your position where you're gonna struggle to get 18. If you get 18 this week, you've had a blinder. That's how hard this week is. So, yeah, anything else you wanted to add before we say
Um,
sayonara?
we need to get Marcus on the pod because you've always talked about him not having many of the players like a Bontempelli, a lot of players that aren't missing this week. He's got a lot of the opposites. So I'd love to
He
see
could
him
win the grand this
just
week.
shoots up the list, to be honest with you.
He could win the grand this week because he has no Bont, Rosie, Green, all the really popular guys. He doesn't have any of them. So he wants to come on the pods. We'll have to get him on the next few weeks or so. But he could win the grand. So watch out. He might win the grand. But Butcher, I can do the honours, mate.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, rate it, give us a review, a good review at
Tell a
least, not a
friend.
bad one. Tell a friend. Thanks for
Don't give us any bad
listening.
ones, only good ones. No
Thanks for
bad
listening,
reviews.
and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. See you later.